Together, we are the San Diego Food Justice Project. It's a collaboration between City Heights CDC, the Rec Innovation Lab at San Diego Miramar College, the Cook Alliance, which is me, the Jacobs Center for Neighborhood Innovation, and Business for Good. And we came together to provide small food business owners in San Diego with training and grants through our Get Cooking program. And so we're excited to speak with you all today about the collaboration that came together to create this program, how it operated, the lessons learned, and a little bit about our micro entrepreneurs within the food system that were assisted, and the growth and future of the program. And so I'm going to turn the mic over to everyone, and we're going to be sharing who we are, and then also a story of an entrepreneur that we worked with through the Get Cooking program.
Thank you, Roya. So I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Tanya Hertz. I am the Executive Director of the Rec Innovation Lab, which is a business incubator at San Diego Miramar College. For those of you who don't know what a business incubator is, it's just like an incubator for any other small baby thing, except this is an incubator for small baby businesses. So we help small new businesses to thrive when they're most in need of that help. And I'll pass it then along to my colleague, and then afterwards I'll share with you one of the stories of one of the founders who went through our program.
Hi everyone. My name is Tom Bowie, and I am the Economic Development Manager for City Heights CDC. What do? We provide technical assistance to small businesses, storefront, anybody who has a dream of owning a business, who are a immigrant. English is the second language. We help them with technical assistance, from financial planning to getting grants, to marketing, to getting supplies, anything and everything that they need to start their business. We will be there to help them. So.
Hi everyone, my name is Danea Ramos, and I am Managing Director of Business for Good and also part of Jacobs Center for Neighborhood Innovation. Both organizations are nonprofit organizations. Business for Good is a organization that's membership based, so nonprofits, businesses, and individuals join to help move policy forward. And then Jacobs Center for Neighborhood Innovation focuses on economic development and community engagement for Southeastern San Diego. So I'm just going to tell you a little story. So I'll start with the story and then we can go like that. Okay. So I had the privilege to work with about 80-something limited English speakers that spoke Spanish, and I was able to lead these business owners to go through this 8-week program, which was amazing. And I have quite a few stories, but one of the stories that really resonated with me was a single mother. Her name was Christina, and her business was Few Party Services. And so she's a single mother. She had jobs here and there. But once MEKHO actually passed last year, she's like, oh, I'm going to start this. And so she decided to open up her MEKHOs. She sells raspados and elotes and a bunch of different food services or food items. And this is what's maintaining 3 of her kids. Her partner left her a while ago. 3 kids that are one's in high school, and then one of them is in middle school, and then the other one is like below 10 years old. And so this really changed her life because she had no other way of getting extra income for her family, and this is what's supporting her and her 3 kids.
Wow, I have a lot of stories, but one that stick with me the most was this particular MEKHO. It was a Vietnamese online Facebook selling authentic Vietnamese noodle, the pho, and whatnot. Roya, I remember, kept calling me and it's like, Tom, I need you to come to this place. It's the best pho ever, but I don't understand what they're saying. I need you to translate for me. So she kept calling me, all right, I will go, Roya. And so we went, and again, the best chicken pho I've ever ate in my life. But she doesn't speak English, and Roya doesn't speak Vietnamese. And I look at Roya and it's like, how did you order? Like, what did you do? She's like, I point. And we got to talk, and she she immigrated to Mira Mesa in 1975 or 76. And what she did was she just cook at home for her family and friends. And everybody's like, you need to sell this. You need to open a restaurant or whatnot. And she's like, I don't have any money. So she's like, start selling it online and whatnot. And so word of mouth, and they did a Facebook page and start selling. And then we explained to her about the San Diego Food Justice Project. Her dream was to open up a storefront and give this to her son. We explained to her that the San Diego Food Justice will help her start that path. We met the son, and the son's like, I don't want this business. And so we told, just apply. And the son applied, and the son went to the class for the mother. And the whole 8-week course, from financial planning to marketing to how to get supplies, how to cook and whatnot. At the end of the class, he's like, I want to do this. I'm going to start this business. And so now, after the class, they are now partners now. They're working towards getting a storefront, and he's now like into cooking and owning this business for his mom. So that's one of the story that got me the most. And thanks to Roya, I still order the food every week. So.
Thank you. So this is, I know that you don't have a whole lot of background about the program, but it's an 8-week program where we teach people from all different levels and in all different stages of their business. As long as it's a food-based business, we help them, right? We give them the training, the 8-week training, and then where they go from there, it depends. And I had a really hard time choosing a story of the over 200 people that have gone through the program since we started. It was less than a year ago, right? Less than a year ago that we started. Oh, sorry, I'll slow down a little bit for the interpreter. I'm a fast talker, sorry. So it was hard choosing one of the over 200 people who went through the program. But I chose one of the businesses that went through. He came to us, he started a business called Alive Ferments. It's fermented foods in jars, and his goal was to get into grocery stores. He had already started the business with his brother. Wasn't sure if he was doing everything right, which we see that a lot. A lot of times people aren't sure that they're following the laws or doing things right. So we helped him with everything. He went through the 8-week training, and the reason why I chose him is because just last week he got into 5 grocery stores. 5 grocery stores. So I'm really proud of him. Yeah. And there's lots of stories like that.
Yeah, it was truly incredible being able to meet all of these micro food entrepreneurs. This Get Cooking program is open to all different types of micro food entrepreneurs, including street vendors, caterers, small brick and mortar restaurants, food trucks, cottage food operators, and MEKHOs. And for those of you who don't know what a MEKHO is, it's a micro enterprise home kitchen operation. A state law that was passed in 2018 actually makes it legal to sell food from your home kitchen. And so I'm the executive director of the Cook Alliance, and our organization is dedicated to legitimizing home cooking businesses and collaborating with other organizations to provide wraparound services and education. And so what was truly incredible about this program was that we got direct access to all different types of micro food entrepreneurs, and some of them recognize that, okay, MEKHO is the way I want to start, or recognize that, okay, I have a MEKHO now, but now I'm learning through this program how I'm going to now transition to a catering kitchen or to a food truck. But through the direct access with these incredible entrepreneurs that we got to meet with on a weekly basis for the most part, it was also very helpful in terms of advocacy and in terms of being able to figure out what else is needed for the community. And so we had a roundtable discussion with some of the program participants of the Get Cooking program. And so my story is kind of about how with Chef Ree of Warung Riri and also Chef Alejandra of Trini's Cocina. They're both MEKHOs, and a number of other home cooks. They came to us. We had a roundtable discussion with them asking, what changes do you need to see? What is actually happening, within your MEKHO? What's going on that maybe is a barrier for you to grow? And they were able to tell us, hey, we're running into the issue with the caps. And at the time, the caps for MEKHOs, it was 60 meals per week and $50,000 in gross annual sales. And gross annual sales, that's barely anything with the margins of how much food costs. And they were able, through this program, we talked to them about food margins and sales. And they were able to look back at receipts and say, hey, a few years ago, we were buying a cucumber for, 59 cents, and now it's over $1. We were buying a duck for, $12, and now it's $20. How are we supposed to keep up? And so it was by hearing their stories through their participation in this program that then we could turn around and go to Sacramento, literally 2 days later, go to Sacramento, talk to legislators, and be able to tell them that, hey, this program is really working, it's helping people, but there's some improvements that need to be made. And so because of that, we were able to actually lift the limits through AB 1325, which passed this July and was signed by Governor Newsom with urgency. And so now MEKHOs can make up to $100,000 in gross annual sales and have expanded capabilities of 90 meals per week, and also are able to expand what meal definitions are, so offer desserts and smoothies and have flexibility. And so it was because of this collaboration that we were able to get such direct access to these microfood entrepreneurs and be able to make these changes. And so it was really rewarding for all of us to come together. But before I kind of ask questions and turn it more over to the panel, I also wanted to introduce one of our program participants who actually went through the Get Cooking program. So Chris, and so she's going to share a little bit about what the program was like for her as a participant and her business.
Hi everyone, my name is Christina. You can call me Chris. The name of my MEKHOs is Chrissy's Market. I am the first in my family to graduate. I had been working retail and for economic reasons to help my family, and then I went back to school. I actually got my degree, but then I came to the job market and I couldn't get a job that would pay livable income. So I found out about the grant program, and it was a blessing because that is my passion, food, and also at the time, coincidentally, my mom and my sister were going through a huge health scare. They had type 2 diabetes, liver issues, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, like everything you name it, the doctors want to put them on medication. And so I decided I want to cook for them. And within 3 months, they reversed all their conditions. It was, I cooked, and what I was cooking is I was cooking plant-forward food. And I had taken a few courses about plant forward. It really interested me because of the sustainability aspect, because of the environmental aspect. But until then, I hadn't realized the health aspects to it. So I had the opportunity to do that. And then finding out about the grant program that gave me this little financial bump to help me get that start and be able to serve my community the same food to hopefully reverse their issues was like, of course I'm going to do that. So 8 weeks, I was able to go through the rec center at Miramar, and I just learned what I really needed to learn, which were business basics. When I first started it, I was a little lost because I had never owned a business, and the 8-week course taught me things I would have probably had to pay a lot of money for. So it gave me the empowerment to be able to apply those business skills into the MEKHOs I started. And so slowly I have been getting to serve my community. And just recently I became a pop-up vendor at my local farmer's market. So it's really exciting. And I'm very, very thankful for all these people that have collectively worked together to create these opportunities and reduce these barriers to where people don't know how to make a living, and what they do know is how to cook, you know? And so this has been one of the most amazing opportunities and most impactful opportunities in my life. So I'm very thankful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You put that so much better than any of us could about about what the program was like. But I want to turn it over to Tom to share some statistics and a little bit of background about the demographic we were aiming to serve in this collaboration.
So when we first started out, we were aiming for 170 new businesses to help. And we didn't expect to have over 500 applications. And each and every one of us went individually through the application. And every application we were looking into, we will find every reason to say yes to this applicant. And if we don't, if we couldn't get them into this program, we'll find another way to help them in other way. And before I read the numbers, out of that 500 applicant, we selected over 180, and 169 graduated through the program. But out of all that 500 application, we sent out a resource. Hey, this time you didn't get in, but there's other program that might help you. And so no one went out empty-handed. So the number out of 169, 37 were Asian, 31 was African American, 78 was Latino and Spanish speaking, 6 were Middle Eastern or Northern African, and 7 were white. 1 was South America, 1 was Islander, and 1 were Native American. Another is 68% were female-owned businesses. 31 were male, and 1% did not. Not 9 by 9. Thank you. A majority of them did not have a college degree, and we look into people who did not have that opportunity. We wanted to give it to them, and so. And it's throughout San Diego County. It's not just City Heights or Logan Heights or any. It's the whole San Diego County. Let's see. Gross income. 74 of them were less than $20,000 a year. 42 was 20,000 or 34,000. 30 were 35 to 49. 15 was 50 to 74. 5 were 75,000 to 99,000, and 3 did not answer the question.
And I just I wanted to add one thing in there, in that so many of them did not have a college education beforehand. But one of the perks of this program was when they did go through, or when anybody goes through this program, you have the option of taking it for college credits. So that 8-week training, in the end, you get a 3-unit class that goes on. It's college. It's real college credit. So it's pretty exciting. And one other thing I wanted to state too was we didn't intentionally choose that many women or those demographics. That's just how it ended up, and I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's actually a great segue into the next question. I'm going to hand it over to Danae to talk about, but each one of us had a different skill set that we brought to the table, and it was through collaborating that we were able to get this program off the ground and to put it together and operate it. And so the theme of this year's gathering being kinship, it really helped develop kinship between all of us and our nonprofit organizations and the way that we collaborated. So I'm going to pass it over to Danae to talk about how the collaboration came about and specifically what motivated all of us to work together.
Hi. Okay, so majority of us have been working in nonprofit organizations for a while, and kind of like what Roya mentioned, each organization brought a different skill set. I think here in the U.S. we're so used to it just being so individualistic, but outside of the U.S. it's very collectivism, and so each of us have a different background, and we're used to that collectivism, that collaboration, and how collaboration can actually bring bigger impact into this community. And so what happened was that ordinance passed in 2022, and the state had this new grant program called the SEED 2.0. And so we came together by, let's say, Cook Alliance was, working for that ordinance to pass. Miramar Rec was really there to provide that platform for business owners to actually get that college credit, which was super crucial for them because a lot of them had never gone to college, and they said, oh my goodness, you're giving me college credit. This is like the best thing ever. I never thought I could get college credit. And then City Heights CDC provided that admin and that technical assistance and financial planning and all that great stuff. Business for Good, they are a bunch of seasoned entrepreneurs that were used for mentors. So these are entrepreneurs that were assigned to business owners that were part of the San Diego Food Justice Project and were matched together to help them continue and succeed in their 8-week program. And then Jacob Center Neighborhood Innovation has a state-of-the-art facility that we were able to use and implement and use for them to come into the space. And so we kind of all just came together and we said, okay, how can we provide a program where it's not just focused on, white individuals and people that just speak English, but how can we provide a program that we can provide different languages? So we were able to provide Spanish, Vietnamese, and Cambodian. And those languages, a lot of people were like, this is amazing. This is the first program that we, that actually focuses on these languages, because a lot of the programs out there don't do different languages. All they do is English. And so we all came together and we said, okay, how can we do this? We actually were supposed to finish this program next year, but we decided to do all 4 cohorts this year for some reason. And the beautiful part about this program is that 75% of the funding that we received had to go to business owners. So each business owner that graduated within the cohort were able to get $2,500 to $7,500 right after finishing the program, which is huge. And so, yeah, we just work together. We are honest with each other because, as you all know, working together sometimes can be a little bit on the difficult side. I will say there were some times where some of us weren't present and the other ones picked it up, which was great. But choosing these type of collaborations is very crucial, specifically because if you can't work together, then it just is a detriment to the community and you do a disservice to the community.
Thank you. That was amazing. And I don't know if we said this before, but we've distributed $750,000 in direct grants to these micro entrepreneurs, and again, a group effort, which was just really significant for all of our organizations. So I want to pass it over to Tanya to talk a little bit about this specifically was a food program. It's focusing on micro enterprise home kitchen operations, sidewalk vendors, pop-ups, caterers, more. And so how do these diverse food types and businesses contribute to the local food ecosystem, and why is it crucial to support them?
Thank you. So that was one of the things when we first were starting this program was, who are we going to help? How are we going to help them? What kind of help are we going to give? And when we started and we came out and said, well, we want to help regular people who are cooking out of their homes and maybe doing so illegally. Maybe they don't have the right licenses. Maybe they aren't doing things the way that they should do. But we felt like if we could help this particular group of people, we could have a tremendous impact on the economy, because a lot of people don't realize how big an impact these small home-based kind of food businesses actually play in the economy. We actually, they make a huge difference and are employing tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people here in San Diego, and are making a big difference. So we chose to help that particular cohort, and we went through, we talked about what kinds of things we wanted to teach them, and rather than focusing on the education, the food education, we wanted to focus on getting these people the business education. We wanted to teach them about marketing. We wanted to teach them about selling things online, about doing financial statements, things that maybe they didn't know how to do. And when we put together that curriculum and were able to do that, we were able to help a lot of people, and a lot of people beyond just the ones that we helped in the economy. So I think we had a pretty big impact, and it'll be interesting to see how big that spreads. But I did want to say one other thing beyond this. 8-week training is not a lot of time, right? That's not a lot of time, and we got a lot of training into those 8 weeks. But we did realize that a lot of the businesses that we helped still needed additional training, and so we're able to, because of all of the experience that we bring in and all of the resources that we have, we've been able to continue to help a lot of these businesses. I have at Miramar College, we have the incubator that I was telling you about. A lot of the people who went through the program afterwards stayed at Miramar College, continued to get resources, continued to get help. And in fact, after this, later today, I'm going back over to Miramar College because we're filming videos, commercial videos. So there's a lot more that we've been able to help this particular group. But I went off a little bit there. Sorry about that. I have a tendency to do that. Here you go.
No, that's great. I think just one thing I'll add too is on focusing on different types of micro food entrepreneurs. A lot of times selling food, is kind of what Danae said, it's an individualistic thing. You're doing it alone in your home, or in your food truck, or on the street, wherever you're choosing to operate. And it's hard to have a community around that. And so what was really significant about this program is the diversity of the different types of food entrepreneurs that we actually had as a part of it. And they became a model for each other. And at the end of the program, we had everyone come up and say what was, one of the best things that you learned from the program. And so many people cited that it was the community, it was the mentorship, and not just the formal mentors from Business for Good that were established entrepreneurs, but each other. Being able to look at someone and be like, okay, I have this type of permit now. I'm a MEKHO right now, but eventually I want to sell my food in a grocery store. That person has a processed food registration permit. And so they could go and directly connect with them and say, how did you get this permit? And so we had so much collaboration just within the cohorts as well, that they have Facebook groups and they still are talking to each other within these groups. And so that was just really beautiful to see that they can be a template for each other. And a lot of them, because we had 4 separate cohorts, so members from cohort 1 came back and became mentors for cohort 2 and 3 and 4 and so on and so forth. And so now there's just a lot of community that's been built within the food system that creates opportunities for upward mobility, and the template for, this person has done it, these are the opportunities that are available, which was really beautiful to see. So I want to turn it over to Tom. Danae also kind of mentioned this, but it was really significant that we targeted English language learners, people that maybe don't speak English, and provide an opportunity for them to learn in that language. And so if you want to comment on that and what it kind of took to be able to translate everything, and the importance of providing, teaching in that language.
Oh my God. So when we first started, we did not know that we were going to fly this plane as we were building it, because we didn't know that we had to translate this into Vietnamese, Cambodian, different languages. In City Heights itself, they have 40 different languages spoken in City Heights. And when we first started the application process, we didn't have a lot of Vietnamese applicants, because they were like, this is not for me. It's going to be in English. I'm not going to understand English. How is this going to apply to me? And we look at each other, it's like, they have a point. How are we going to do this? We will luck out because cohort 2, there was a particular business owner of men, Hanoi Kitchen. She graduated at Texas Tech University with a doctorate degree in education, but she provided for herself through selling online with a northern Vietnamese food. She moved to California for her son, and she found out about this program and applied. And we look at each other like she can be the model for the Vietnamese community. So she went through the process, the whole thing. And at the end, we asked her, would you mind to come back and teach this class? She's like, absolutely. And she became the champion for the Vietnamese community. She translated everything, the whole 8-week course into Vietnamese, the video. She came back and taught the class. We rehired back to taught the class in Vietnamese. And in cohort 3, I think 4, she came back and taught the class in Vietnamese. We graduated 17 Vietnamese businesses that would not have that opportunity. But we asked them, what did you got out the most out of the course? And she's like, men. Because she came in after hours, called them, and how do you do a business plan? I can cook, but I can't balance my checkbook. So men did it, and then the next thing was the Cambodian community, the Laos community, and the next thing is the Cambodian community. Unfortunately, during the Pol Pot area, no one can read or write Cambodian. So how do we teach them? The same thing, there was a business owner who can speak English, who can communicate with the Cambodian community, are willing to come back to teach the class. So now we're going to do the Cambodian class in the next cohort. And so we're going to identify other languages and see if we can do it again. So again, it was a difficult task, but we got through it. So.
Can I add one little thing? Yeah. I just wanted to add one little thing because I had no idea what we were getting into when we first started. Honestly, I don't know if I would have done it if I would have realized how much work it was. There were 40 videos that we recorded for this. There were hundreds of documents. There was assignments and activities, and each of the 4 sections of learning, we broke that down into 8 subsections. And so all of that needed to be translated into each of the languages. I can't believe what we were able to get done in such a short amount of time. But now we have all this here, and we're going to be able to continue doing this. We're going to be able to continue giving out these grants and helping more and more and more people in more and more languages as we go along. And so I'm excited about it. I think it's just going to get better from here.
Yeah, that's a great segue too, because it was a lot of, we learned so much throughout it, and we even made certain changes from cohort 1 to cohort 2 to 3 to 4. So I don't know if Danae, if you want to take this one, just some lessons learned and things that improvements.
So as I mentioned at the beginning, I was in charge of the Spanish speakers, and not only was me, Roya, and Tanya there translating stuff, but there is such a huge difference between being born here in the U.S. and growing up here, and being born somewhere else and growing up there and then moving to the U.S. These individuals, their culture is just different, right? So when they would come to the classes, instead of it being an hour class, it would end up being a 3-hour class, because these people didn't grow up with technology the way we did here. These people didn't speak English the way we do here. And it was a lot of technical assistance, not just with hey, how do you write a business plan, or hey, how do you do this financial planning, but hey, how do I turn on this computer? How do I, open up a Word doc? Oh, you're using Google Docs? How do you do that? And so that was definitely a learning lesson for myself. Even though I grew up with that, it was still different because it wasn't my family. It was a different individual that I was like, oh, okay, I need to step back and say, okay, take it little by little. And so that was a huge learning lesson for all of us. Another learning lesson would be, getting some names after we do a post-assessment or pre-assessment. We wanted to do assessments before they started the program and then after they ended the program, and see how they ended. And, you're going in very fast mode that all of a sudden you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to ask what your name is, so now we have to resend it all over again. So little things like that we kind of learned from that. And then also we learned to kind of pace ourselves. So we ended our last cohort, when did we end it? August. I think we ended our, July. We ended our 4th cohort in July, and we said, okay, guys, from then till December, we're going to take a break and really reassess everything, because even though our program is good, it could be better. We could do a curriculum different. We're going to bring the mentors in sooner. We're going to probably change the way, instead of having financial planning in the end, probably have it in the beginning. So little things like that. And that is from feedback from, the people that go through the program, but also within ourselves, where we're just like, wait a second, like this doesn't make any sense. So yeah, just a lot of different learnings that we had.
Comment on any lessons learned?
1,000,005 lessons. I think the one I got is to be patient, is because, especially the Vietnamese community, just like Danae was saying, is teaching them how to turn on the computer. They can cook, they just can't do the other things to run a business. Also, how do they get their supplies? You can't just go to Walmart and get fish sauce, certain things. And so being listened to them and matching their needs to the resource that we have, I think is the biggest lesson. Is just that sometimes I sit there and it's like, you should know this. I'm like, no, I'm thinking for myself. Let's think in their shoes. They're coming from a totally different country, and they're trying to start their business, and so they know better than us on how to run their business. And so we listen, I guess.
Okay, so I'm going to share with you a lesson that I learned from some of the entrepreneurs who went through the program. And like I said, there were people from all different levels. Some people had just a business idea, and we were helping them to establish that idea, turn it into a real, reality. And then there were people that had been in business for 20 years, and they were just trying to start their first website. Surprisingly, there were people that didn't have a website after 20 years. But all different levels, right? The one thing that I learned from them is take advantage of the resources that are out there available to you. Don't think that you're too good or you know too much to be a part of a program. If there's something out there like this and you qualify, take advantage, right? Get the free stuff and run with it, right? Big businesses do it. Do it. And I say that because I know we have a lot of people here in the food industry, and I know we're going to continue this program, and so please do take advantage. I hope that I get to see many of you go through the program, and if not, maybe as a mentor or something like this. So, anyways.
Yeah, I think what was so incredible about this is that we were consistently learning all throughout the entire process. We're still learning now as we're looking back and figuring out how are we going to improve upon this. We focused a lot on accessibility from day one, trying to figure out how can we make sure that this program is as inclusive as possible, recognizing that some people, may need to work during typical hours, can't drive out to, a set location every week to participate. And so we combined synchronous learning and asynchronous learning and had recordings that were available to them, other depositories of resources, and that worked really well because people could choose whether they wanted to come in to the physical space and have that hands-on assistance, or for people that were honestly too busy and just couldn't take that time, they were able to still complete the course largely offline, so that they could still get that assistance. And one of the biggest things too that Danae mentioned, that we went through this very quickly, that we technically had a lot longer for our grant period, but people really need that grant funding. They really were looking. It was very difficult, looking at people who had applied to this program and saying, okay, well, we're going to run the next cohort in 6 months, because people are struggling, right now. And that funding and the education would just go so far. And so that's kind of why we turned around and tried to do it as quickly as possible. But definitely learned a lot of lessons from that as well. And so I kind of want to just turn it over to talk about the future of the program to Tom, and how we're hoping to sort of expand upon it as well.
So yes, we the program was such a success that another organization said, you know what, let's continue this program. Let's continue and help more people. So we will continue cohort 5 and 6 in next year. And so, yeah, to be announced on how many, how much, and whatnot. But we are, whereas they were like, no, we can't stop at 4, right? So 5 and 6 is coming. Hopefully 7 and 8 will follow, 9 and 10, 11 and 12. It could be a start of something, right? Yeah.
As long as we can keep finding the money to give to everyone, we're just going to keep doing. So the next cohort 5 will be in April of 2024, and reach out to us. We'll let you know. We'll let you know when the grant is open. I'm sorry.
Cohort 5 will be in January. Cohort 6 in April.
Oh, January. That's right. Yeah, January then April. Yeah. So thank you. I forgot that. Oh gosh, that's soon. That's really soon. So. I don't feel ready.
Well, change that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but the application isn't quite open. It will be open soon. We'll let you know when it is open. I want to just say one other thing, because I brought a couple flyers with me about our program. If anybody has any questions, I'll stick around afterwards if you want to know more from me, except for obviously when that next cohort, because I was wrong on that one. But other things, I'll be happy to answer questions. Yeah, I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, so I did actually want to open it up to Q&A if you all have any more. Obviously, we could talk about this program for forever. But yeah, so if there's another mic so that we can.
Hi, I'm Angie. I'm a physician at Sharp. I'm a culinary medicine director. So again, into that question, if someone has an idea, they want to start a business, but they don't really have an avenue, have you ever had any speakers who actually I'm a physician, I would love to have someone who can cook for my patients because they can't, because they're either nauseous because they're on chemo, or they are lonely, or they don't have a kitchen, or they just they're lonely and they don't want to cook for one person.
Yeah, can you hear me? That's a wonderful question, and that's actually one of the most amazing positives of MEKHOs and home cooking. We have reports of clients that are going through chemo and are going through certain health conditions, and at a restaurant you can't go and say, hey, can you cook my food without salt or without certain ingredients, but with a home cook or with a micro-food entrepreneur, you can. And so it's ways that you can get really tailored food. And it was just incredible to see the diversity of how people are operating as well. You had some people that were providing food to the single moms in their community, as a support. You have people that are just trying to do nutritional meal planning and helping people have access to scratch made food, and so there's so many stories like that of ways that these food entrepreneurs have been able to partner with the community to provide food and even interaction with the elderly, for example. That there's a lot of opportunity there and a lot of ground for collaboration.
And I just wanted to add one other thing. If I could get your contact information afterwards, I can think of 3 licensed, amazing women entrepreneurs who are doing just that, and they're looking for business, and so I can put you in contact with them, in the meantime, before that list is ready.
I think it's really great you talked about collaboration and how you all work together. I'm just curious about whether you all already knew each other or knew of each other, or how that collaboration kind of came about.
I'm the new kid on the block.
Yeah, so I've known Roya we were just talking about this, probably about 4 years, and Tanya about a couple years now, and I've known City Heights specifically with Alexis for a couple years, and we kind of just known each other for a bit, but kind of have never worked this closely with each other. And so when this grant came out, City Heights CDC and Cook Alliance kind of were like, hey, and actually you, Miramar Rec, was like, okay, let's pick some nonprofits that are doing good work in the organization that align with what we're trying to achieve. And then that's how it kind of all came together. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because we all had kind of different skill sets that we brought to the table, and so that was what was so incredible about it. None of us could be able to do this alone, but together we kind of were able to fit in all of the different pieces to get this program up and running. And like Danae said, there were times when one organization could pick up the slack, or certain members, and so that's what really made it successful, was that element of collaboration. And the nonprofit world in San Diego is small, and it's so much better if we do work together, because we do all have the common goal. So.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add that I don't know if any of you ever are looking at grants, but I'm always looking at grants, and as soon as I see a grant that I think would work, I think, okay, who are the best people to bring in? Because you don't ever want to write a grant on your own. You want to bring in people and the right people, and I'm actually in the process right now of writing a grant to do a very similar thing to what we've been doing here for the food industry, except for childcare. And I would love to be able to help people to start their own small at-home daycares, and then help that major problem that we have of not having enough childcare in San Diego. So, yeah, keep fingers crossed, right? I'm writing that grant right now, so yeah.
Sorry, I had one more follow-up. I think it's really great that you were able to make it work with returning students that were able to teach. That's very unique and it's awesome. I've participated in different programs where we did find that part of the difficulty in translation was getting the technical language to be at like a level with that they could understand more easily. So I'm wondering, if that's something you also kind of had to work around, and how that kind of came about, because a lot of times that is a challenge.
Yes, it is. Amen to that. One thing that I realized, or we all realized, is that it was so important to do an orientation in person together before actually asking them to get into the technology, because you don't want to try to teach somebody how to use technology with technology. It just doesn't work. But we found that if we could get everybody together for that orientation and just walk them through the first time and show them, that helped a lot.
Yeah, and I think we broke in the orientation. We broke into the Vietnamese, the Spanish, in different group, and then afterward bring everybody together as well. So we individually in the Vietnamese orientation, we ask, what is your level? How well do you know the computer? How well do you know this and that? And so then men can mark it out. Okay, this person needs more hands-on. This person doesn't, and whatnot. And the same thing goes with the Spanish. And then we all came together and say, okay, we need more help on Miss A, but Miss B is on level 2, so we can move her along. So yeah, I think that helped it.
Hi everyone, Juan Pablo Sanchez. I'm part of Business for Good as well. I did participate in this cohort, and my question to you is, and I think it would be helpful, is because I've talked to them separately, but for me as a business owner and as working with some of your students, navigating the bureaucracy behind anything that has to do with government is extremely daunting. So and I've talked offline. I've talked to people on the health and human services and stuff like that, and they tell me, like, how do we reach people to let them know not to build something before coming to us and asking us what's, because that happens a lot, I guess. So my question to you is, have you thought about maybe incorporating people from different, planning boards or health department or county services to sit at your classes and jump ahead or help them navigate, or even maybe facilitate cut through the red tape a lot easier, because that is probably the hardest part of starting a business.
That is a great question, and actually we did work directly with county health department, because food permits are through county health. And so we actually, for one of the sessions, we had the head of the food and housing division come out, and the head of all of these programs come out and give the presentation about all of the different types of food permits that are available, and then answer questions, which was so fundamental and vital to being able to provide that support, where people could say, these are my circumstances. This is what I'm doing. Am I allowed to do it? Yes, no. And so the Q&A sessions there were actually so helpful. And so we recorded all of those. We have 4 different sessions. We had someone for our Spanish cohort from the health department come and give the presentation simultaneously in Spanish as well, 2 separate classrooms. And so it was really amazing being able to partner with county health to provide that and provide that access that a lot of times, you know, if people pick up the phone, it's hard to get your answers, your questions answered. But having that person in the room was great.
I will say to that, and that's one of the lessons we learned as well, is that we actually had that be maybe like the 7th class when really it should be the 1st class. And that's kind of what we thought. We're like, hey, wait a second, like we're waiting too long for them to learn about this when really they should learn it in the first week. And that way they know when they're doing their lean business canvas model, when they're doing their financial model and marketing, like they have that in mind. So another lesson we learned.
Just wanted to say this has been really great, and thank you for doing this. I live in San Diego County. I'm a resident in San Diego County, but I work in Riverside County. And I was part of the Emergency Command Center, where we put out over 1 million meals, as we had adopted this just prior in 2019 for this event, for this service to be able to happen. And we had to put it to the test and worked with Alexis Parks. And we worked it through our Project Room Key, and over 1 million meals were served by home MEKHO systems. So it works, guys, and we're working on the next venture of this, and where there's funding, and I will be talking to you after today.
Yeah, just as context, MEKHOs are available in 12 counties right now throughout the state of California, so not everywhere. So we're lucky it's here in San Diego. You go to Orange County and it's not available. Los Angeles is just now starting the process of putting together an ordinance, but you know, if you all know any home cooks, if you all are in any areas, there definitely needs to be a lot more outreach to inform the general public about this opportunity and to be able to support these small businesses as well.
Hi, my name is Sahar. I'm with New Roots. Are you all familiar with New Roots? Is there anybody from the CDC? Hi. Well, I just want to say thank you for the presentation and the information that you guys provided on everything that you guys do. My question is, how do you monitor and monitor to see how effective your program is and how accessible it is to disenfranchised communities and people who don't have access to getting these resources or even knowing about these resources, the steps to take to get a business license. How do you make it accessible to the people in the community, and how do you monitor the success, for your annual report?
So I'll say, one thing I will say is we tried really hard to make sure that we actually reached people in the community who actually needed the services and weren't just providing this to existing businesses and the people that we knew. We got out there, we hit the streets. We went to every single place where they sold food out on the streets that we could find. We went to Barrio Logan and talked to the people who were pushing the food trucks. We went in front of Walmart and just talked to people who were selling tamales. We spread out across the county and really just tried to hit as many people as we could. And at first, we had a lot of people apply, and we thought we did a pretty good job. But then, word of mouth kind of took hold, and we started getting so many more
people just started talking, and we think we did a pretty good job as far as outreach. When we realized that we had hundreds more people than we could help that first cohort. In terms of monitoring and assessing, we've been doing some of the standard things that you do in pre and post surveys, talking to people who've gone through the program. What else am I missing? What are the things we're doing?
Yeah, so we work with the promotoras, we work with, notified a lot of other organizations in the community, see that, hey, we're doing this. We passed out lots of flyers about this program as well. And so, yeah, that's something that we're gonna want to continue doing and finding more ways. And by presenting to you all, like maybe you all know of communities and clients that maybe you work with that would really benefit from a program like this. So that we can do that. And the other thing too is we were trying to be very intentional, not just about our outreach, but then when people applied about accepting, since we had so many people that applied, about who we accepted. And so we did have, a rubric, and we were looking at demographic information and whether or not they were low income, English language learners, and that all affected if they made it into the cohort or not. And so, yeah, data collection and learning is definitely something we're going to continue to improve upon, and then also continue to look at, because it's also integral to making sure we can continue this and get more grant funding for this, and report to the community, to the city, to the county about how much success can be accomplished when you not only educate the community, but also then provide direct access to funding. To be able to actually start up their business that aren't loans that they don't have to worry about repaying, that they can really use freely to be able to start or scale their businesses.
Thank you for your response. The reason I asked is because I personally have experience with working with the New Roots Gardener, grew up with the farm. I'm not, I don't have a specific position except that I'm leaders at our farm. And recently we decided to have a event, bizarre event, that way people at the New Roots Garden can sell their produce and kickstart their potential business ideas at the event. And personally, my experience with the City Heights CDC and getting access to MEKHOs Kitchen, getting access to these resources that you guys talk about was ultimately very difficult. And receiving the technical assistance for the farmers that are here with me today and the people who were interested as well. Participating in the bazaar, it was ultimately very difficult to obtain these resources, although the City Heights does help administrate us and help maybe any other technicalities that we seek to manage at the garden. However, what can you do to be more transparent with your clients and the organizations that you help administer, as administrators for these programs, to make sure that these communities and the people at New Roots are not overlooked, and are not deprived of these resources that you make accessible to the community.
For that, the bazaar, for that to happen, there's a lot that goes into it. Permits, county, a lot that needs to happen before that can happen. The second part of it, we're doing our best to make sure that we provide that technical assistance. Do we can help everybody? Yes, but we're doing our best to and right now we're doing assessment with the farmers right now. And we will continue doing that. We'll continue to give that technical assistance. I think our team has begun the work now, and we're making that contact with the farmers and see what's the needs to the resource. We have the resource, so we're doing individual meeting now to find that needs, to match that needs to the resource that we have. It takes time, and we're going to do our best to provide that private service for you.
And just to add one little thing, we are figuring this out as we go, but we learned that whenever we try something afterwards, we talk to the people that we tried it with, and we ask them, how do we do? What do we do right? What do we do wrong? And then we adjust, right? And that's, I guess, the best that we can do.
And thank you for your presentation, very informative. And I think I heard you say the limits in terms of how much somebody can earn were doubled. Congratulations, such great advocacy. That's amazing. Oh, yes, I can speak up. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, perfect. All right, and so one of the barriers, of course, I just did a little bit of math, and it came out to $21 per meal if the meal is 90 meals are the limits. Number one, what is the reason for the meal limits? And is there an opportunity for us to decrease the number, or rather increase the number of meals so that more people can access this wonderful service?
So when this legislation was passed in 2018, it was actually the first law of its kind across the nation to allow a permitting system for home-cooked food and allow the sale of all different types of home-cooked food, including meat, poultry, like fish, things like that. And because it was so novel, there was a lot of pushback around health and safety and figuring out, is this a program that's going to work? Are there going to be a lot of food safety complaints? And honestly, there's, as of today, again, only 12 counties out of 58 have been opted into this law, and that's because there's still a lot of fear around this, even though people have been doing this for hundreds of years, and it's a very common way of being able to make an income. And so we're trying to basically push the envelope and take it in baby steps. And so AB 1325, which we just worked on this year, that was as much as we could push for now. And that was like a small, like we had to obviously make concessions. We went in asking for a lot more. But we're working directly with county health, with county supervisors, there's a lot of stakeholders in this, and again, a lot of opposition. Even when we were trying to get it implemented here in San Diego, it took years to actually get San Diego to opt in. Years of efforts of going around and even looking up all the data from Riverside and saying, hey, it's been working successfully. Even now, we have incredible data from the past 2 years that it's been operating in San Diego. There haven't been food and health safety complaints. There haven't been neighborhood violations and complaints. And so it's more of being able to have people do it and do it successfully and show evidence that it's working. It's going to help us implement it, change the laws, be able to continue to improve upon it. So yes, I recognize that it's still, it's not where it can be, and it's hard that there's limitations to begin with, but this is kind of a foot in the door. It helps us get it in places, be able to say that these are micro businesses, this is a stepping stone, and at the end of the day, we're going to do everything we can to continue to make improvements and bring this opportunity to as many people, not just here in San Diego, not just throughout California, but hopefully one day across the nation.
Just one little thing there. I don't understand how politicians don't get this. I don't know if it's because they've just got too much money and they never had to struggle. But once they see it, they understand it, and then we can start pushing the envelope and getting rid of some of those ridiculous requirements that we have to concede for now, right?
Angeli, and I'm a beginning farmer here in San Diego, and I'm wondering, is there a connection to source the food that the chefs make, or chefs buy already, so that it stays local, so that it's part of the local economy, so it's organic, so it's regenerative?
We definitely encourage collaboration. We encourage. So we encourage all of the people going through the program to buy local as much as possible. And I think that there's more that we can do as we start to build this community up, as our list starts to grow. I think we can find additional ways that we can help them to buy local and to help each other out. But we have started to see more and more of the people who've gone through the program using each other's services, right? And not everybody is a home cook. Some people actually, who've gone through the program, are in the, are farmers or people who are growing the food. And so, yeah, we definitely encourage the collaboration. If you have any ideas of how we can improve that even more, hey, we just want better and better. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to add to that, oh, here. I wanted to add to that because, a focus for me is sustainability and organic when I can, GMO when I can, and being recently a pop-up vendor, I'm around a lot of produce growers and local growers, and I have had an opportunity to meet them, talk with them, and if I can afford it, buy it to cook my food with it, because ultimately that is the goal. Like, I want to just use local food, seasoned food to make my food. So being here is the first time, like, this new world has opened for me to find, network and collaborate and find ways to work together towards the goal that we want to achieve. So yeah, it's definitely something that there's room for growth, for sure.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say is, to everyone in this room, we're here today because of this collaboration on the stage, but we want to collaborate more with you all too. So if you have suggestions, ideas, or you're part of an organization that, thinks that there's ways that we can contribute and work together, please come up to us, please let us know. There's true power in numbers and kinship, and so we're really excited about that, to have this platform to be able to connect with you all.
I just wanted to make a quick comment to the policy comment, and just the fact that there's a preponderance of data that really supports the need for what you guys are doing and the need at this level. I think the issue is, we know that things change from administration to administration, and so it's actually, it's actually a good segue into my question. What are you guys, sorry, one second. In regard to sustainability, what have you guys already created? Is there something on the table to make sure that as things do change, that you guys can continue to do this work? And then I also wanted to know, we know that there are a lot of barriers to the access to funding. Thank you for the data that you guys provided, because it really supported how intentional you guys are about digging into the community, making sure you're finding the people who truly need access to these programs. Additionally, what kind of opportunities do you guys provide on the capacity building side and on the project management side? A lot of the organizations that already currently exist, there are a lot of issues with workforce and infrastructure. And so I just wanted to know if you guys provide any services related to that.
So some of the services that we provide in terms of helping the entrepreneurs to scale, it doesn't fit into the 8-week training, but it is important, and so that's one of those sort of add-on services or resources that we provide. We've seen a lot of the people who are at the point where they're coming into the program and they're at that point that they're looking to scale, or they're
looking to grow. A lot of it ends up happening at the mentor level, putting them with the right people who have that, have that skill set that can help them to grow has been effective. But unfortunately, there's so many things that we need to teach them. There's so many things that they need to be able to do, and it's just not enough time to do it all. So we've really tried to provide additional resources on top of extra programs, right? And then in terms of the first part of the question that you asked, what was the first part? What was the first part? Oh yeah, sustainability. What are we going to do? How are we going to keep this going? It's going to be about the money. It's always going to be about the money. So we went through the money that we had very quickly the first time, and that's because we gave it all to everybody, and there was a real need there. But we're just
trying to find grants, trying to find donors, trying to find ways that we can continue this program. And as long as we can find the money, we're just going to keep offering it. And administration to administration, it changes as to the availability of money, but we just keep looking, keep trying, being scrappy, right? And I think, one more question? Yeah.
Question in regards to publishing, it's really important to publish, and to be able to serve as a model or best practice. So are you guys publishing your work? I know for me, in some of the fact that my organization has SE, the fact that organizations like yours, the dramatic impact, have been able to serve as a liaison so that they can get access to funding is really crucial. And so, but a lot of organizations, especially on an institutional level, still need a model to know how to do that.
Right, and we'd love to be able to provide them the model. It seems to always boil down to, can we get it done with what we have right now? And it just seems like we're always struggling to try to get everything done. But it is, it is a point of discussion, and it is something that we recognize the need for. And when we're able to publish and get that data out there for all of you, we'll make it available on our website so you can use it and you can, do what you need to with it. So, yeah. And I think, are we out of time there? I know I see a couple of hands, but what do you think? Okay, maybe we can take another question. Yeah, maybe we can take another question. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, if you look on Amazon, our program with a million meals is on Amazon, and it's called First Food Responders.
And you have some data there. You shared the data. First Food Responders on Amazon. Thank you.
How we did it through COVID. And there's, I believe, some videos that we made a video, or the Opera made videos. So,
and
that's just something to start with.
Yeah, we did make some videos too. We did make some videos, and those are available. And I put in the request to be able to write up that research project. So hopefully we'll get that soon. And then Dana.
Well, I was just going to say, those are great questions, because that's what we do. Like, we assess of the sustainability of how this is going to continue. And I think with continuing collaboration and showing that data and saying, hey, this is why it works, and even starting off maybe with a white paper and just putting it out there with like PR, and then slowly starting getting videos together, which we do have a crew that has gotten videos of a bunch of MEKHOs here in Riverside and as well in San Diego, and creating that funding for them to actually finish those videos. I think that's how we can continue to provide this program. And in regards to sustainability with the entrepreneurs, I mean, a lot of the times these entrepreneurs may not last, 5 years, 6 years, and that's the sad thing. But we're here for them, as well as the seasoned entrepreneurs, to mentor them and let them know, hey, if this happens, this is when you pivot. And when you pivot, that's how you can create some sustainable pathway to continue your business. So something that we're still learning, we're still trying to, figure things out. But thank you for that question, because I think it was very good.
Thank you again. Just to kind of add to your question, I'm sorry, what was your name? Samantha. She asked you what previous projects have you supported and worked on in the past and recently to increase sustainability and community development. And another question that I feel like you guys didn't answer regarding Samantha and I's question is, what kind of data do you collect to, get the data that you talk about? What kind of data? How is it received? And how do you improve on an annual basis to make your resources accessible and, you know, have more transparency on, you know, your budgets and, you know, where the funding is going, who's getting the grants, what type of grants, you know, are out there for people. Because, you know, with my experience and a lot of the farmers, you know, experiences with the CDC, administrating the garden for, you know, about 5 years now, we don't know about these resources. You know, we've just recently heard about them regarding what we were talking about, the bazaar that we discussed a couple months ago. And, you know, despite having the timeline, the outline, the contact numbers, you know, and basically everything you need to, you know, manage and help the farmers, you know, get their permits and license and just basically start their businesses, individual businesses, that on its own was very difficult for the farmers. So I'm curious as to how you help the community outside of New Roots and how you access, you know, those individuals that need help and need, you know, resources that would help them, you know, expand their businesses or even start their small businesses or even, you know, cook from home. You know, how is that, you know, open to the public, and how can us as, you know, the public and the people that you serve access them?
Thank you for that. So I'm going to touch base on the survey parts or the assessment. So, and like the demographics or the data that we collect. So we collect age, we collect if they are immigrants, if they are low income, where they're, like the city where they live within San Diego County, as well as if they have any like college degree. And then right when they start the program, we give them a pre-assessment, which asks them questions along the lines of like, do you have, it could be as simple as, do you have any, you know, social media out there? And then for the post-assessment, the second question, or the question would be like, since starting the program, do you have social medias? And then we see like, okay, they went from 0 and now they have 3 different social medias. And so questions like that, where it's like, from the start of the beginning of the program, how confident did you feel from like 0 to 10? And so in the post-assessment, we would then have them answer that same question of how confident they are from 0 to 10. And then they would answer, okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So those are the type of assessments that we are doing within them still being in the program. And then post the program, what we're planning to do is reach out to them 6 months after the program ends to see how they're continuing to do. And then again, a year from now, and then continue just to see how they're doing and provide those services. So that's kind of the stuff that we're assessing as of right now, and we're still learning as we go. So that was a question that you had, and I'm gonna pass it over to Tom in regards to the other question.
In regards of the CDC helping the farmers, we as the economic development team recently was tasked with making sure that we assist and give technical assistance to the farmers. I believe the economic team has started making appointments, providing the technical assistance to individual farmers to identify what needs that they need and match that needs to the resource that we have. And as we continue, we will find out what you guys need to the resource that we have. So we're working on it, and we will continue giving you the service that you guys are looking for. But it's you know, we're going to continue finding ways to help you. Before we can give you the service, we need to know what needs you are looking for.
So I just want to, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was just going to say, I'm going to have to run very quickly after this, so I just want to let people know my contact information is here. I'm going to leave it on the edge of the stage, some of my cards, some program information, and like, please reach out to me. I want to help you.
Yeah, just since we're basically at time, feel free to come up to any of us afterwards to ask any questions. And just on a really uplifting note, it's been an honor to be here with all of you to share what we're doing. And and we want to be able to continue to improve, to continue to reach more people, the people that really need it. And so any suggestions that you have, any ways that we can continue to collaborate, all of us together, please let us know, because it's very exciting work, and you know, can't wait to see how far our food system can come when we provide that support for our micro entrepreneurs.
Thank you.